how to fail and not feel like an absolute loser.
How to feel and not feel like how to fail and not feel like a failure.
Yeah, because
That's,
the thing is that they always say that you have to fail. I remember when I heard you have to fail, I thought, what the heck?
You don't want to fail, do you? You want success.
Listen to this week's episode of
Get Real with the
English Sisters. And today, as you've guessed, we're talking about how to fail.
How to fail and
Feel good about it.
feel good.
How to want to fail.
I don't think anyone could ever want to fail. Come on, let's be honest. I think if you do fail, you can say, okay, then I'm going to learn a valuable lesson from this and not feel like a failure and not feel terrible and but do you want to fail? Do you really, does anyone ever want to fail?
Well, imagine how great it would be if you say, I'm going to do this and I want to fail.
Well, I can't say that. I can't. I can't say that.
It's against your principles, isn't
Well,
it?
no, it's just like, yes, I definitely do.
She's got her body language.
No.
Thanks.
Like, no, I do not want to fail. No. But what I can do is if I can accept it now with the famous, since we studied NLP, which is the Neurolinguistic Programming, and there was that famous phrase that basically, it's changed our lives, hasn't it?
Presupposition. There is no failure.
Only feedback. And when you start learning, this thing and you absorb it. I think when you absorb that sentence fully, it can change your life.
Well, yeah, it does change your life.
It's changed our lives.
Yeah. Because it means that whatever you do, you only get feedback from it.
Well, yeah. So you might.
If you're failing at something, if something doesn't work out, you think, what have I learned from that?
What have I learned? What's the feedback? Okay, I've learned these valuable lessons, so I won't do that again because
I'm not doing that.
I'm not doing that again. I'm going to change something.
But I'm not doing that again as opposed to saying I'm a loser and I failed and I'm useless and I'm rubbish and I'm whole load of
and then just going inside yourself and just getting depressed and feeling horrible.
It's learning from your mistakes, really.
It's learning. There's no failure, there is only feedback. So you're at work and you fail at something, you have to say, okay, so let me give myself my feedback. Why did I make a mistake in that? Why did I fail? What happened here? What can I do to improve? I think it's just, now it seems almost obvious to me, but for you to ask me to say I want to fail, no. Can you honestly, come on, if I say to you, do you want to fail? Let's try.
I'm not there yet.
Oh, well then, don't act as if I'm so...
And just say, wouldn't it be great if you embark on something and say, I want to fail because I know that in order to succeed, you have to fail.
All the great people in the world, no matter what they are, in what line of work, acting, business, they've all failed. Tons and tons and tons of times,
I think now with the way with social media as well, we always see instant results. So you always see the success at the end of like 10 years or 12 years.
I know.
And you don't see all the hard stuff. There is a backlash on that where they're showing the steps, the ups and downs, and you see lots of little diagrams, pictures. But how easy is it to absorb that? Really, it's the instant reward. It's the instant. Oh wow! Look, they made it. They're successful. They've run an amazing business. They make loads of money.
Yeah, my business. I've only sold 2 items this week. Oh my God!
But is that a failure or is that a success for you? You have to look at as well. Sometimes you can reframe failure. What you might consider failure. No, that's good that you've sold two things because the week before you didn't sell any.
Yeah. In that case, indeed. But however, if you compare it to, maybe some I don't know. I'm just saying you start up your e-shop, and it's not doing so well. You you can either think, oh, I failed at this, or, maybe there's some feedback I can get from this.
Well, there's always feedback.
There's always feedback, yeah.
You might have to spend more money on advertising, or you might have to promote your shop more, or maybe look at who your customers are.
Exactly,
but there's always
your
feedback.
Target audience, as they say, yeah. I know, but
I think the main thing here is not to feel as if you're a loser, because I think once you start internalizing your failures and taking them personally,
that's it.
That's a problem.
That's a problem, yeah.
If you don't take them personally and you don't don't care about it, you just say, okay.
Is it possible not to take them personally, though? I mean,
it is. Lots of people do manage it.
Yeah.
But I think
who manages it?
Well, I think people that are used to failing a lot manage it really well.
Yeah.
Because they just go on to the next adventure, don't they?
Yeah.
I think the least you've got going on in your life, the harder you take it.
Yeah.
I think if you've got loads, like if you haven't got your eggs all in one basket and you're doing lots of ventures at the same time, and then, or you've been doing it for a long time, you become more experienced in failing, and then you just think it's just part of succeeding, and you actually like.
So you mean
budget? You don't. It's not budgeting. I can't remember what the word is, but you actually allow for that failure in your plan of success.
Yeah, you allow for it. Yeah.
Yes. So it's a bit like
a business plan.
It's a bit like saying, I want to fail, but it's not. You don't want to do it, but you allow for failure in the plan for your success. So you allow for failure.
Well, I think if you say it like that, it's kind of foolish not to allow for it, because, I mean, on every new adventure or anything you try, like even if we're talking about sports, for example, we all know how many times you have to fail in order to succeed there. So, I mean, now when you were talking, I was just particularly thinking about business.
But if you think about a baby, how many times they fail before they can walk?
Yeah, that's true. Failure is a natural part of
our lives, isn't it?
Yeah, that is so true. Yeah.
So when is it that we suddenly decide that failure is not natural?
Makes you a loser.
Makes you feel bad, or makes you a loser. When is it? When is that like drummed into us?
At school, once again. I think it was at school. I'm sorry. It's all that marking and the grading, isn't it? It's a grading. I mean, the grades show you that you failed.
Yeah.
You either get, either like when you're really little in our school, you would get a star, and that means you were a star. Oh, yeah, you take it personally. But if you got nothing, or I can't remember what you used to get, so you would feel like, oh, I mean, you actually say, I failed at this.
Yeah.
It's personal.
It's personal, isn't it?
It's very personal.
So imagine if at school they said, this is the feedback you've got from your test today.
That would be nicer. Yeah. I mean, but how could they really do it if somebody really does terrible at it? I mean, I know that it's easy to say it started at school, but what could you do in order to...
Because we do live in a competitive society as well, don't we? Where, I think
we're graded.
Yes.
We're given...
In a way it is, I mean, it's a difficult one, because they say when they started taking all the trophies away from school, everyone was a winner.
Yes, yeah.
You can go that way as well. You can say everyone did well, everyone gets a medal, but... is that good as well? Because in as a natural part of our society, we all have maybe it's better to teach you to excel in the thing that you're good at, but in other things to accept that you're going to fail at it. You're not as good as others, but it doesn't mean that you are a failure.
There could be a kid that's a faster runner.
Yeah,
for example, and does that kid that's a fast runner not deserve that medal?
Exactly.
Where maybe they've been training every afternoon.
Do we have to make everyone the same?
No.
I don't think that's good either.
No. But the key here is, okay, so that kid did win that race, for example, but the other kids, what do we do? What do we tell the other kids that didn't win the race? So if we say, oh, you lost, or You know, if we all said to them, well, there's no failure, only feedback. So next time, check on, I don't know, whatever.
Yeah. Or maybe as well, how do you compare yourself to how you did the week before? So say even if you came last, but you managed to get to the finish line, you did well for how you came the week before. What you did before.
Yes, exactly.
So maybe stop comparing yourself to others and compare to yourself to
your own progress.
To your own progress on how you're doing at the time. I think that would relieve a lot of anxiety.
Oh, I think so, yeah. Yeah. So compare on how, definitely. That would
your achievements on how you did the day before and what you did.
Oh, God, I don't know. It's a tricky one, if we start thinking about that. I'm just, but basically in adult life, I don't know about, the school system. We all know that there are things that can, it can always be improved, and we're not judging because then we know how hard it is as well. So, I think I'm personally talking from a personal place. I remembered feeling like I'd failed at something when I first started learning maths and I couldn't do it. And I thought, I was only 5 and I remember thinking, I'm a failure. And then in those days we would get hit. So, I remember it was awful. Yeah, I remember hiding under the table so the teacher couldn't just grab me and hit me. So, it was.
That's horrific.
That was horrific. But I felt like, oh my gosh, not only I can't understand the concept, I can't understand because I was dyslexic and I didn't know it, and nobody knew it in those days. But I couldn't understand the numbers on the blackboard. They were like moving around or something. And plus you would get hit. So, it was pretty awful. Mm-hmm. But that's a time when I remember thinking, what's wrong with me? I fail at this all the time, consistently.
And there's nothing I can do to make it better, kind of thing.
No, I just couldn't understand it. But, yeah.
Yeah, but if the teacher said, look, you didn't get it right this time, but maybe I can give you some extra help, or I can explain it in a different way, it would have been helpful for you.
It would have been it would have been amazing if she'd come up with something physical that I could touch, so I could understand the concept of subtraction or something, because I remember that's probably where I first really got stuck with
abstract.
Yeah, with the taking away things. Instead of just showing me the symbol take away, if she said, look, here are 3 teddy bears, I'm going to take 2 teddy bears away. How many, can you count how many there are there? I would have known it was 1. It's just the idea on the blackboard, it was just, Yeah, totally. Obviously, if there were, maybe nowadays, obviously.
But do you think that affected you in life? Do you think that made you less confident in other areas of your life?
Yes, it did. Well, certainly at school, it made me start to hate it.
Yeah.
It made me start to have strong anxiety towards going to school, which I could have been a perfectly happy little kid because I was excelling in all my other stuff. I was good at everything else. So I could have been happy. I had a lovely little friends. I could have had a happy little time at school. And I didn't. And I was, yes.
So if you had to carry that lesson on to adulthood, what would you say? About failure when you're an adult?
If I was an adult and I could go back to my little self when I was 5, I would just go and grab her under the table and give her a hug. This is making me feel emotional. I'm almost feeling like crying now, but yes.
Yeah, because it was traumatic.
It was
at the
so
time,
traumatic.
Wasn't it? Yeah. And I think that's what happens to a lot of you maybe that are listening.
It was
you may
awful.
think that something... I think that's why it was so liberating for us to learn that there is no failure, only feedback. Because I had a hard time as well.
Yeah, it was hard. I remember feeling guilty as well.
Yes.
That I would come back home and feel like I'd done something so naughty.
Yeah, it was something so wrong, and that wasn't your fault at all.
No,
you had no fault in it.
Now, I would just go back and hug her and say it's
and
okay.
So I think maybe as adults we can hug ourselves as well.
Definitely.
When we fail and say it's okay to fail. We're going to learn from this, and we're going to go on to greater things.
Or if we can't understand why we failed, we can find an alternative route. Say, okay, I didn't get that, but there is another way of learning this.
Yeah, or asking for help as well.
Yeah, or there are...
Because I think a lot of the times we always feel as we have to do everything on our own, a lot of us. We have to, the way to succeed as well is to do everything by yourself. It's often the case.
I'm feeling like these podcasts are turning into my therapy sessions. Oh, goodness.
Well, we are therapists.
Yeah, I know. It's just funny. Yeah.
Because you weren't expecting it, were you?
I wasn't expecting to remember exactly how I felt, you know, in that classroom so many years ago. And I mean, I could even smell the chalk on it. It was like in one of those mobile classrooms they put us in.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yes, I remember it perfect. I remember seeing you standing outside all the time, you poor thing.
In the end, I was just put outside, or I would get sent to the headmaster, who, thank goodness, he was a lovely man. And he would just look at me and say, "What's the matter now? Why are you here?" And I would just say I was hiding from the teacher or whatever. I can't remember. We used to have to wear those school uniforms as well. That was so hard to understand as well.
We forget the beret.
God,
it was a massive telling off.
You had this little hat you had to wear, and then that tie. God, we used to have little girls would wear the ties as well. Did we have those ties?
I don't know if we had them in the primary school.
We didn't. No,
I'm not sure about those.
This is infant school.
I remember they were in the high school. We had them.
High school and junior school, we would have them. They were like, yeah. They had like stripes on them.
I think the school you're talking about was junior school.
Is that tiny school?
Yeah.
Oval?
No, not Oval. It was the other one.
St. Mary's. It was a Catholic school. Yeah. Well,
if it's taken you back to your failures as well, maybe from when you're little, it's amazing how things that happen when you're so young can stay with you, and they're hidden in your subconscious mind. You don't actually realize, but they're actually affecting your confidence or your anxiety when you're actually older. I mean, look at us, we're grown women.
For goodness sake.
I mean, we've had
and that can still make me trigger to feel as if I want to cry.
Yes.
Now, when we're talking about something that happened when I was 5, and now I am 55, so that's 50 years. Oh my goodness. Yeah, and I'm still making me feel like crying. So this is how the mind works, you know.
I think if you acknowledge that and you give yourself a hug now, when you are feeling that, you have failed at something. You feel that failure because other people that have had a different kind of childhood, or that had more confident, that had more nurturing, they have learned from an early age that it's normal to fail. Maybe they've seen their parents fail because their parents are very successful, and maybe they failed at a lot of things, and they actually talk to their children and explain how it's part of life. Yeah, part of life.
It's like walking. Yes. You fall over.
Exactly. It's not really success or failure. It's part of life.
It's just normal.
Yeah, it's normal if you're living and you're having experiences.
Otherwise, you're not alive.
No.
So I mean, if we all normalized it, and even going back to the classroom and say it's normal. Oh, you don't get it. That's perfectly normal. You're not weird. No, it's okay.
Yeah.
It's just normalize the whole thing about failure. Because it was like when we were learning how to walk or learning how to tie our shoelaces. What about writing? The first time you have to try and figure out how to write those letters. I mean, it's pretty complicated. We failed, all of us, so many times until we got the perfect A or the B, and we managed to write it.
If you had a nice teacher, it was a bit like a game then, wasn't it?
Yes, with a nice teacher.
It was like a game.
It was, that was okay. I can't even remember that part.
So that was okay.
Yeah, that was okay.
It was more with the number thing you had.
The numbers, the numbers.
The problems.
Yep, definitely with the numbers.
The hug now is very good, I think, as adults. If you fail and you hug yourself and you say it's okay to fail, it's okay to have failure in our lives, because it means we're doing and we're achieving, and it's part of living.
It's part of living. Even like we've spoken about school and work, but even like with relationships, if you do have to break up a relationship, if you think of it, God, I failed, like we hear so many people say this, I've wasted 7 years of my life. No, you haven't.
No.
You haven't. You've lived those years. You were alive. You've experienced experiences. And you can learn now, and you know what you want and what you don't want and what you like. You learn. That's valuable feedback for your next relationship.
Exactly. And it's not only is it feedback, but it's like what you were saying, it's life experience.
It's experience. You accumulate, you absorb it. Yeah, you can't just say, oh,
they're treasures, really.
They're treasures. Yeah, I mean, it's like saying, oh God, I was married for 20 years and now I'm going to break up, I'm going to divorce. Oh. This is been a tragic failure. It's a failure. Is it? No. You can think, no, it's not a failure.
I've had a good relationship.
We've had a good run. It's lasted a long time. There's been happy moments and many shared experiences in those years.
Exactly.
You know, you cannot say that is a failure.
No.
You can only say, you know, we're both changed and we're both evolving, for example, no matter what the relationship is. Same as with a work relationship. Sometimes you just have to say it's done now.
That's enough.
That's enough. You know, working together as well sometimes. I'm trying to think about all the times, you know, in which you can experience the feelings of saying, I feel like I failed at something, you know.
Yeah, I think sometimes when if you don't get something right, or if you get made, you lose your job.
Like you used to be quite scared of failure, didn't you?
I did. But that's all gone now.
Yeah, it's all gone now. I mean,
now I see life more as a journey, and I don't see the end because like
you used to be so terrified.
When people get to the end, it's like when you achieve the thing that you might be striving to achieve, in the end, yes, it's for one moment you say, yay, I got it, and you celebrate, and then it's always on to the next thing. So really, it's just about enjoying the moment and enjoying each little...
The process,
yes. And if there are failures, there's going to be failures.
Sometimes you can even laugh at the failures afterwards. Say, God, do you remember that time when we...
Wow.
Well, do you remember? Now I'm just remembering when you tripped over on that train when we were in America. Do you remember when you fell, didn't you?
Yeah. I mean, that's what you're saying. That's a failure. Didn't know how to walk properly.
No.
You're blaming?
No, but I mean, we could think, gosh, you know, that was... It didn't go as planned, let's say.
No, that didn't go as planned.
Exactly.
But could you actually say that's a failure? Tripping?
No. But... No, maybe, yeah. I mean, I remember when I tripped over in London and I fell down. Some people
might say that it's they might feel bad about it.
I felt bad because we were going towards a business meeting.
Yes.
Do you remember? And I tripped and I sprained my ankle, and then I had to hop along in this incredible pain. And I thought, God, I'm like, I'm not being efficient here. Gosh, why can't? What's wrong with me? Sort of thing. Why can't I just? Do I have to go and fall now? Why did I wear these silly shoes?
Well, to bring you back to Italy in a wheelchair.
Exactly.
Exactly. I mean, she couldn't even walk. I bet
it was bad.
It was very bad.
It was awful, really. Yeah. I was taking anti-inflammatory painkillers when we were in the business meeting. I was like sneaking them in, thinking, gosh, I hope it doesn't
Let's face it, though, it didn't really affect us that much, did it?
It didn't affect us at all. Everything went fine.
Because we knew failure's no feedback.
Yeah, and I managed to just
put a brave face on.
Put a brave face and not make a fuss and just get on with it. But yeah, I mean, even if I had made a fuss, who cares?
Exactly.
So nowadays, maybe
when you look back on it, you think I should have made a fuss.
This was 10 years ago. Yeah, nowadays, I want to go to an emergency care and get this checked out. I would have taken more care of myself now. Yeah, that was a lesson that I've learned from that feedback.
Yeah, but they didn't do anything in emergency, so we weren't that naive in the end.
No.
We knew it was a really bad sprained ankle.
It was bad, though, yeah. It was swelling up like mad. In the night, do you remember the next morning, the hotel, Violetta said, God, I just hope you can get on the plane. And I looked at my ankle. I thought, oh, my God, there's no way I can walk on this. There's no way. How on earth? We're going to manage to get...
We have a good laugh about it now, though,
we do, yes.
It's one of our adventures.
It was an adventure, yeah. There's been loads of them. Anyway, yeah, that's kind of, you have to learn. You have to give yourself a hug.
Give yourself a hug, and I think give yourself a bit of a laugh as well. Have a bit of a laugh about it, because we can't really take ourselves too seriously in this life.
No, we're humans. We're imperfect. We're, sometimes we break and stuff happens to us. We're not so perfectly healthy or whatever.
Yes.
Yeah. We get stuff happening. So what we're going to say?
Stuff happens.
Yeah, we're failures.
No, never.
No, we're learning. We're learning from this.
We're learning. We're in progress.
We're in progress, exactly. Continuously learning from this.
Continuously evolving.
And getting the feedback from it.
Better and better day by day.
In every single way.
Hope you enjoyed listening. If you do enjoy listening, please do share this podcast with your family and friends. Come and say hi on Instagram, Get Real with the English Sisters, or at the English Sisters. And
let us know how you failed maybe at something that now you
look back on
it and you think, hey, I did learn something from that. So there is no failure, only feedback.
Only feedback and life experiences. Bye from the English Sisters. See you soon.
Bye.